Abana ku masomero mwebale abatana bakubazaayo nabwe tubakubiriza nti muzeeyo abana ku masomero mufube ekisoboka kyonna mulabike nga muzaayo abana ku masomero. Nako lwaleero tugenda kutabulamuko ku lulimi Luganda, Lungereza byonna kulabika nti oboolyawo message tusobola ogijjayo bulungi nekutuukako butereevu. Nga bulijjo zibeera nsonga za byabufuzi. This morning we'll be looking at the proposed constitutional reforms, and this comes after a group of NRM cadres came up and presented their proposals seeking to amend the constitution and introduce the parliamentary system of government, where parliament will be electing the president, contrary to the adult suffrage that we have today, where every citizen casts his or her vote for president. And in the studios this morning, we have the president of NRM Cadres Transformers Association, Mr. Felix Sadupa. He's the man probably fronting this particular proposal. And again, we have Honorable Patrick Oshabensamba, the Member of Parliament for Kassanda North in Parliament, in the 11th Parliament. Welcome to the program, our viewers. Let me introduce Felix Sadupa. Felix.
Yes.
Welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you on the show today.
I'm humble.
You're humbled.
First of all, a point of correction. You said I'm a president of NRM Transformer. There is no NRM. We have Transformer Cadres Association, Uganda.
Okay.
So the word NRM, I don't know whether you brought in deliberately to start the introduction, but
okay.
There is no NRM in it.
There is no NRM in it.
It is Transformer Cadres Association, Uganda.
You are members of NRM, not so?
We are members of NRM, but we are not registered as NRM cadres.
All right. Thank you for that correction.
We are Transformer Cadres.
Transformer Cadres Association.
Uganda.
Patriotic
cadres.
Thank you. Honorable Samba, speak to our viewers.
Good morning, viewers, and good morning, Ugandans, wherever you are. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Thank you. How's Kassanda?
Kassanda, the trouble is very few parents have been able to bring back their children. There is a school I was talking to a teacher asking him how many students have been able to report. And unfortunately, the few schools have been speaking to, they indicate that they are at 50%. Hopefully next week, being a rural setting, most of the parents will bring back the children. But I want to use this opportunity to ask whoever is responsible of Kassanda, mwenna bazadde baffe nja kubasaba nti investment zonna zonna nnungi, bwe muteeka ssente wonna walungi, naye awasinga obulungi baana baffe. Ebirala byonna byonna osobola okufa n'obireka, naye bw'oleka omwana ow'amaanyi oba olese omuntu naawe erinnya lyo lisigalawo. So nja kubasaba buli omu weerekereze byonna busungu, byonna ebikutawaanya biteeke ebbali, ze abaana ku masomero. Mufube buli omu yeerwaneko mu ngeri yonna, tulabe nga abaana baffe bakola ki, basoma. Era owe Kassanda yenna ndaba, nsaba otwala message eno gigambe mulirwanaawo nti akaseera kaffe k'okuzza abaana ku masomero bamaze emyaka 2 tebasoma, bangi tubaluuzinze. Abo abaafuna embuto mu babudde tulabe nga nabo baddayo. Abo abaalaluka ne bava ewaka nabo tufube nnyo tukube tulabe nga tubasikiriza kulaba nga badda ku masomero.
Good. Welcome once again, our viewers. The issue and the main topic for discussion is the proposed reforms. And Felix, let's hear from you about these proposed reforms. You can briefly tell us about how you came up with this proposal and why at this particular point in time?
Thank you very much, Ndugu and Honorable Patrick for Kasanda, all away from Kasanda North constituency. I have high regards for him.
All right.
Thank you.
Because he was once an NRM like me, but because of his own opinion and his conscience, he jumped on the other side. But still, it does not mean we cannot share ideas, disagree and agree for the best interest of the country. The proposed reforms, first of all, if had made it to Parliament, I was coming up with a private member's bill. I myself personally. Unfortunately, you know, when you ask God, there are only three answers: wait, yes, or no. Those are only three answers we get from God after every prayer. Why now?
Why now?
You and me and Honorable Patrick knows very well that it is now a norm or a tradition here in Uganda that we start discussing about election when it is 1 year to election. My brothers from the opposition, they wouldn't, you know, they will bring the debate, serious debate about election reforms when it's 1 year. We want reforms on this. We want changes of this. We want the chairperson electoral commission like this. That's the time you hear them coming out. If the dictatorship cannot do this, we are not moving in free and fair election. This has been their cry. When election is done, nobody wants to talk about it. You ask yourself, they demanded for this and that and that. But unfortunately, you went to election that all those were not fulfilled. You are aware that we had a Supreme Court ruling.
True.
They have given several recommendations that the government should implement in order for us to have a peaceful election. I only hear that when election is near. I think it is now time we start discussing about election at an early stage. By the time we are going to 2026 general election, we shall not be having those discussions. We should be having the rules which are clear. The government should know its mandate. Those the electorate should know their own mandate. So that nobody should be confusing and mixing things. And also, we don't need to go in election where there is no clear guidelines. So, in the aspiration of that, Transformer Cadres Association said, let us come out, propose this. Then, our brothers from the other side also bring now their own proposal. If there were those issues raised by the Supreme Court and up to now has not yet been sorted, this is the time we start discussing about it. Honorable Winfrey Nwagaba, the Shadow Attorney General, has got a bill. I expected this is the time my friend Honorable Patrick here would now bring in Winfrey Nwagaba and said, now they have brought this proposal. Let us also bring this. Okay? We look into two.
Okay.
Which one should we move with and which one should we not move with? It is time to discuss.
Well, it is time to discuss all these issues. But Mr. Adupa, the electoral reforms, there are several. There are several of them. Why prioritize this particular amendment? Looking at Parliament electing the president, not other not other issues like demilitarizing the elections, not other issues like the election or the appointment of the Electoral Commission chair or the whole commission. Why prioritize only this one?
That is the problem I have with you people who are in the media. You picked only one item and glued on it. That is a problem with our media. They set agenda and want the whole country to follow one agenda. I think you have got the opportunity to look into the proposal. We are not putting electing the president by parliament as a serious priority.
Which is?
We are proposing a change of governance. Okay? We have seen a parliament, a presidential system of governance for almost 35 years. Are we together? Why don't we see a parliamentary system of governance whereby Honorable Patrick from Kasanda is able to ask the head of state there in parliament and say, I have issues with my hospital. The health center 4 is in this status. The roads linking Kasanda to this is in this status. What is the government position? A member of parliament is able to interact with the head of state. Unlike this one, the Prime Minister comes, Honorable Patrick say, right, Honorable Prime Minister, what is the position of the government on this and that? Then she just said, okay, to respond to Honorable Kasanda's question, we shall go back to the cabinet and look into it, and I'm going to brief the country in next 14 days. And the speaker gives her or him a leeway to go. But now, this one, the president comes. People of Kasanda is seeing that Honorable Patrick today has asked about our schools. And this is what the president had to say.
Okay.
This system, it is good in a way that a president does not have that too much power that we are having today. It could also be our problem that because we have been in this presidential system for over 30 years, the president has grown wings. He does what he wants. But parliament will be there. If you bring a lot of, you don't move in a right direction and the agenda is not to take the countries where we think we're supposed to go, the same parliament has got the right to remove you.
So you think this is the biggest problem this country has? The presidential system is the problem.
We need to
at this point in time.
We need to change the system of governance. It could be the cause of the problem we are facing today in Uganda, because we have left the system with only one man.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adupa. Let me hear from Honorable Nsamba. There are proposed reforms here. What do you think?
Thank you very much, my brother. I want to thank my brother Adupa for his proposals. That's if are his proposals.
Why do you think they are not his proposals?
That's why I'm saying that's if they are his proposals. This country had founders, and I'll talk about those ones that started the 1962 and those that started in 1995. There was a reason why probably they never thought a parliamentary system would be effective, and they chose to go for a presidential system. So anybody who wants to take us away from the system that the founding fathers of this nation thought is better has to labor a lot so that we don't misunderstand him or her or them to be working for someone who is convinced that he cannot win an election again in Uganda.
That is your suspicion?
So the labor there is probably is about the timing and the timing at which they think about this. Many Ugandans believe they are trying to run away from them, and they are trying to help someone from going back to the people. Yet Ugandans over time have been convinced, let us remove this one in the constitution. After all, you can choose your leaders anytime. Let us amend the constitution here. After all, you can be so I would like to ask Kadupa if he can still go on with his proposals. If what Ugandans fear most is dropped, because he is claiming there are so many proposals that is they are working on. But for us, we think this is used to cover up the main agenda. He can convince Ugandans that he's not ready to even discuss that and focus on the other bigger things he's talking about, because he's claiming that this is something small. There is something that he has highlighted, and he's saying that the opposition always waits for the last minute to come up with proposals, and at the same time he says Honorable Nwagaba has a bill.
Yeah, actually he introduced it to Parliament, I think, several years
ago.
2020, I think.
Yes. And if you know that he has proposals, then why do you claim that the opposition waits? By the way, Honorable Wilfred Nwagaba is the Attorney General for the opposition. Now, if he has a problem with any election laws, you don't run to the Constitution. You go to the election laws. And I've tried, I'm still labeling to understand if it is an election problem we're trying to cure, the mischief is with the elections, and is claiming that is why they are coming up with these proposals. The question is, which mischief are you trying to cure? Because at this moment, Apollo, Ugandans have been grappling with matters to do with unfair elections. They have been grappling with issues to do, and the debate now would be, how do we make our elections better? Because the problem are bad elections, violent elections, because the current regime chose to give us that. So Ugandans are at that level to say, no, we would wish better. We would wish to participate in elections where the winner wins. We would like to participate in elections where they are not violent. In his party where he's coming from, National Resistance Movement, they are still grappling with that.
Internally and
within the party itself, because the regime cannot provide better, even within their home. Now, if Ugandans have this at this moment, and this, when we talk about a mischief, Any proposals you bring must be treating the mischief.
So you don't feel anything these proposals intend to cure?
It cures nothing. It cures nothing, because if we are grappling with violence in elections, will his proposals cure it?
I think he's
the answer is no. If we are struggling and battling issues of election malpractices, and you recently saw what happened in Kayunga, broad day robbery, does his proposals cure that? Now, we begin from a mischief and say, as a country, we are troubled with this. And if we are troubled with this, then the solution is this. Now, if his problem is saying that the president has lots of powers, and he thinks that
this system can somehow take
this system can the system can. No, the bad leaders will remain bad. Bad leaders will remain bad. People who don't respect the constitution will still be there. Now, the current system, I don't want to say it is the problem. The problem are the bad leaders that are using this system. I'll give an example. If the 1995 constitution was not amended in 2005 to remove the term limits, where would the president get all these powers every day to kill Ugandans, arrest Ugandans, do anything to Ugandans? He would have stopped there. Another person would have come to power. That person would have left the system, and the institution of governance would have been bigger. But a bad leader came, amended the constitution. If you read the preamble of our constitution 1995, it says, looking back on where we've been, looking at our history, political instability, constitutional instability, we the people of Uganda have come up with this as our law to govern us. Now this bad leader in 2005 comes and amends the constitution because he was supposed to retire then.
So honorable, you
in 2017, I'm telling you, a bad leader, even when you go into another system, he will manipulate that system. There is no system bad leaders will not manipulate. So our mischief today is the bad leadership of the general who is here, who has been here with us, and for him it is about himself.
Not a system of governance.
Not a system of governance. So with this system of governance, because we are in the East African community, our brothers here, Tanzania, are they in a parliamentary system to be peaceful?
No, it's presidential.
It is presidential. We have our friends here in Kenya. They are now gearing up to elect another president. But because also, this one knows and he respects the constitution that my term ends here.
But then they will tell you the neighbors you're referring to have term limits in their constitution and have managed to a transition of power from several leaders. This is
what I'm saying. A bad leader, the fact that he has manipulated, where in Tanzania they have respected their constitution to say a president comes like this to power, where in Kenya they've respected, and I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta, he has not put the country to tension. Because had Kenyatta tried to manipulate the constitution,
you don't see any advantage coming with this.
As long as you still have a bad regime here, whatever institution, whatever system you bring, the bad regime will manipulate it.
What is your suspicion? What are your suspicions, probably, that could be motivating these proposals?
Adupa is claiming is a young Ugandan who wants to see better. I'll take it at that.
Okay.
I'll take him at that. I'll think he is not working for the regime. I'll think that Adupa really thinks well for this country.
All right.
And that's where my discussion wants to take Adupa the way he is claiming he is. So I'm trying to convince him that the mischief we have in this country is leaders who are selfish, a regime which is selfish, a regime which is corrupt, a regime which will give no nonsense to nothing for them to retain power.
Okay.
So whatever system you take them through, they will manipulate it. So don't waste the time of Ugandans. Let us get rid of the bad leadership. Let us get rid of the bad regime. Then we will talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dupa. Honorable Samba raises an issue of why target the constitution, not those particular, if you ought to cure the mischiefs that comes with these violent, for instance, the violent elections we have gone through, why not go for those particular laws, Parliamentary Election Act, Presidential Election Act, and work it out that way, not targeting the constitution itself?
Thank you. First of all, I want to appreciate Honorable Patrick. He has raised several issues here, and he has given an example to our neighbors. But also I want to inform him that Kenya in 2010, they brought in the new constitution was promulgated in 2010 to change the system of governance, okay, in the country. However, they maintain the presidential system and they introduced the Senate and the county government. In 2021, here comes President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, proposing under what they call Building Bridge Initiative, BBI. Barely 8 years. The president and the former prime minister wants to amend the what?
The constitution.
And says, no, I think the other constitution prevent and abolish the office of the prime minister. But we think we need that position to be brought back. Okay? We also think that the opposition, the second runner in the general election, automatically becomes the official opposition leader in parliament. And very many other proposals. It was unfortunate that
it was shut down.
The court came on board, and
it was fortunate.
Unfortunate.
Fortunate. Fortunately.
Fortunately. It was shut down by the Supreme Court. Constitutional
court.
And the good leaders respected.
And that was it. So 8 years, Kenya wanted to amend the what? The constitution.
What's your point relating to Kenya?
Now, here we have a constitution that we have seen. Somebody like me, I've seen this constitution. I was born and I found the constitution is already there. Those of Patrick are saying it's okay, we move with it. And we said, fine, let us go, no problem. But what have I witnessed? The violence he's talking about.
Violence in elections?
In election. I don't think whether Honorable Patrick wants his children or the great-grandchildren to come and witness the same violence.
But he asked you,
now,
if you are to cure violence in elections, why not
I'm
go
coming.
for that particular.
I'm coming. You give me time as you have given him
All right.
time. He's saying, why don't we deal with these other issues and leave the constitution? I have made it very clear that these are the proposals. Okay? He has what it takes to bring the remedies, the proposal on board. It is not time to discuss about bad leadership. He's saying that we must fight the bad leaders. Even
says
if
that
we
is the
have
biggest problem
the
this country
parliamentary
has.
system, the bad leaders will always have their way. That is his submission. It will bring us to one serious fundamental question, that what is your solution? How do you plan to take Uganda to remove the bad leadership that you are talking about? For 35 years, they have been talking about bad leaders. We shall remove the dictatorship. Magezi comes with his bill.
102B.
Okay? Honorable Patrick here failed to protect it. Comes back to bad leadership. Tomorrow another issue has come. The only thing that they have is to zero down Museveni as a person. They are not thinking about Uganda, by the way.
So,
These people you see here think about themselves, survive within the confusion of the politics, okay? And life moves on. The system we are introducing makes Honorable Patrick start making sure that their political parties, NUP, FDC, have got strong ground right from the village level. Where I come from Amola.
is that the problem
NUP,
now?
it is, people just hear.
No, I'm asking, is that the biggest problem now, that the political parties are not well grounded in the population?
The opposition, they are not grounded in the population. That is the facts.
The opposition?
No, they are not there.
NRM is?
NRM is on the ground, and that's why they have the majority in parliament. Because they build structures. Okay?
So you
Therefore, it is giving the opposition or other political parties opportunity to build their party.
Let me hear from him before we proceed. Honorable, how do you...
This is why I say this young man has no mischief is cheering. The more he talks, I get convinced that he's pushing this for someone.
Who is that someone?
Or some people. This is not his agenda. At least when it is your agenda, you get such an opportunity on a TV like this one. You're able to articulate very well your agenda and why you think so.
You think he hasn't?
Now, how can you now bring in political parties? I know he's a young man, but he has been here. He's not below 20. He has been here, he has seen how the regime terrorizes political parties. If it was a regime with good leadership, you'd see the government would be nourishing and giving opportunities to all political parties to grow, to mobilize. But if it is true, that's why I'm saying, I'm now realizing that this is not his agenda. If he's a true Ugandan, he has seen that no political party, except the NRM, can be allowed to mobilize in this country. The army, the police, RDC, RO, everyone.
So you think even if
you go to
we go to parliamentary system,
when
political
the bad
party will still
regime that does not allow others to mobilize, will still do the same.
Then what do you
He
want
will
to
still
do?
do the same. So the problem of this country is not what you're saying. The problem is selfish leaders who mind themselves other than the country. Everything they bring is about keeping them in power. It is not building strong institutions for the country. political parties in this country, you can only be left at your headquarters. To the extent that they even come to your headquarters and they steal everything you have. This is the regime we have.
Okay,
These are the bad leaders we have.
let me hear from him. Adupa, did you take time to go through all these issues before you come up to present these proposals? Adupa.
Honorable Patrick, you know,
now the suspicion is very
You
clear.
look more brighter than what you're saying.
you see, that's the reason why I like these people in opposition. You know, by the time we start realizing that our problem is bigger than what we think, we shall get solutions. Okay? By the time we start realizing that our problems is bigger than what we think, we shall solve the solution. We shall solve the problem.
So the biggest problem is
the biggest problem of opposition.
Is the system of governance.
The biggest problem of the opposition is Museveni. I've had all his submission. At the end, he zeroed on Museveni.
I've zeroed on a bad regime.
Now,
Leadership.
I want to ask one question to my good brother here. Have you thought of Uganda without Museveni? Have you thought of Uganda without the bad regime? Have you thought of it? Secondly, we are looking into several ways. Among them, we have brought proposal of creating another house. Okay? And I am very happy that DP President Norbert Mao has picked the idea that, yeah, we can have a Senate that will act as a speed governor to the government. Okay? If you try to reduce the size of the house,
that will
these Honorable Kasamba Patrick and his colleagues. By the way, there is one thing you don't understand about members of parliament. If you touch on their privilege, their benefits,
they are always united.
You are in trouble.
When it comes to their privileges.
Tomorrow, I dare him, brings a proposal that the size of parliament is too big. We need to reduce the numbers of constituencies and so on. They will eat you up.
Okay, our time is running out.
Now,
Adupa. Mr. Dupa.
How trivial it can be.
Mr. Dupa.
Dupa, this is not your thing.
Mr. Dupa, answer that big question. This suspicion that this is not your idea, this is probably an idea sponsored by someone. And don't you think that will affect the prospects of this idea?
You have heard it from some NRM officials. The other day, Ofono was on TV and saying these are some of our members who lost the election and they are trying to, attract the attention. They are seeking attention of our party chairman. The other day, the Secretary General of the party comes out also and said, these people did not consult us. I think they have brought in their proposal to consult Ugandans. Okay? Yesterday, you have heard from Baromont. Said, we are still looking into it. Are we together? All the relevant offices,
What did he say?
all the offices of NRM. In fact, NRM is rejecting us.
Distanced themselves from this.
That is a clear signal that there is nobody behind us.
In 2017.
It's a clear signal.
They are your proposals.
That we are independent.
You're independent.
Yes, it's a clear signal.
Patrick.
In 2017, what all this that they are saying, and I want Ugandans to always remember this. Those people came out and claimed, they don't want the constitutional amendment, including the president.
Before the 102B amendment.
Where he said himself that those people talking about it are foolish. They are people who are lacking what to do. You remember? But what eventually came through. So this young man is here.
Honorable Patrick, you want to tell me that at appropriate time they will come on board?
When you fail, actually when you fail,
they will take it up.
They will handle it because they are using you now and your team, thinking that you can deliver it. But when they eventually discover that you can't deliver, do you know why they picked young people like you? Because they know this population is full of young people. So they may think if the young people push the agenda, it will be accepted by Ugandans. But at one time when you fail, the way you're failing, even to convince Ugandans about this thing you're bringing, they grab it from you and they say, let us do it ourselves.
Patrick,
and they will use all the energy, including the army and everything.
Honorable Patrick, our time is running out.
Is saying,
what do you see?
To protect the 102B.
What do you envisage? I mean, in this political environment, and these are people coming up with new proposals. What do you think is the future of such a proposal?
Now, I really want to plead to General Museveni and his team. You can be selfish. You can be thinking about yourself all the time. But there is this country. There is your political party that you claimed you built for some time. Why don't you give them a chance? If today the discussion would be if, for example, he came out and said 2026 NRM look for a candidate, the young people like him would be coming up to talk for the candidates within NRM.
So you think he is behind all these proposals?
All these ones, because these ones, even if they are trying to think for him. If he has not asked them, they are trying to think, this is the only way this our man must
will that proposal
let that
see the light of the day?
General Museveni come up and say, 2026. I will not be coming as president. I know NRM as a political party has capacity to get a good candidate that can take the party forward. But this business of manipulating every step, it is not really good for somebody who has been here for 30 or so many years. If we talk about 2026, he will be here for 40 years. He should be grateful to Ugandans and say Ugandans have given me a chance.
You think they will succeed?
This one cannot. You can see the president himself cannot even explain what he wants, what they want. So that is, and I'm telling him, the way I was in NRM, I saw what happened. The people who started with the 120B were not Majezi. There is another group of young people who started it until they eventually found Majezi, who said, I can take it on. Majezi, Simeo, and this, there's about 5 or 10 people who said, we can go into this. So when he eventually fails to push this agenda, they'll grab it away from him.
In just 1 minute, because our time is running out, what do you think it will go? Because you said even NRM is not with you.
We are in
these people in opposition are not with you.
Whether we are not whether NRM is not with us or the opposition is not with us, we are not going to relent.
Really?
We must talk about transition in this business. It's only that
Is it about transition?
How can we discuss about Uganda and we're not discussing about transition?
And that's a very good discussion Ugandans want.
But you see, you have not
not
carefully listened to.
I didn't know it is about transition.
We must be discussing transition as well in NRM. And I think that is the reason why some of our party leaders are shying away, because we have brought serious issues. By the way, one of the issues, because of time, we want even implementation of Article 178, 79 of the Constitution, regional governments. So, Honorable Patrick, we have got good package
Okay.
That Ugandans are suspicious
Okay.
of you.
Okay.
And that is the reason why I'm saying Ugandans first listen to us.
Your last shot.
If you
look into the
don't-
camera and send your
My last word and my last message to Ugandans: if you don't want the parliamentary system of governance, let's look into other issues that we have raised. Okay?
Okay.
Let us look into those issues. They are serious issues that are there. Let us deal with them. I invite Honorable Patrick to get interested onto other issues, and then we move forward.
Okay.
But if we succeed, please, maybe
Nobody
Patrick,
is sponsoring this whole
2026,
scheme.
you may vote for me
Adupa.
as a presidential candidate.
Mr. Dupa.
And if I win, the country will be in a good
Mr.
shape.
Dupa. Mr. Dupa.
Yes.
Nobody. Are you sure nobody is sponsoring this scheme?
They rejected us, you have seen. We are on our own.
All right. Just one shot and we go.
I will tell Adupa. You know, in Uganda they say wali omulema tebawetera walugalo. But how do you explain that in English?
I may not do it.
There is a lame person. You don't appear as though you're lame when you're not. Ugandans have a problem with the constitutional amendment. I know what happened, the country, what happened to it in 2017. So when you're bringing your proposal, first drop that one. Ugandans will listen to you very clearly. Drop the parliamentary system because
Bring other.
We know it is intended to be for someone.
You are fear.
People.
You don't know.
Not
You
our
fear.
we
Okay.
And that's what our fear is.
Thank you so much.
And concentrate on those ones. We shall hear you debating the transition that we're talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Program bwete bwetambudde nkyala leero tusazeewo tukyuseemuko ku lulimi tusobole okubanga
Adupa yatuleetera
tuwuliziganya erudda n'erudda. Amanyi tusiba polo
Simanyi Luganda.
ensonga zino tujja kwongera ozetegereza. Neebaza abagenyi bange, neebaza mwenna abadde ku program. Ndowooza obaolyawo mulina ekipya kye mutegedde ku nsonga eno ey'okukyusa mu ssemateeka endowooza ezo. Mubeere bulungi bannaffe. Tuddemu olulala kujja kwa lwankya. Musibe bulungi. Mweramu.